I wanted to spend some time talking to y'all about professional development because what I have noticed is a lot of new teachers are kind of in the dark about how to keep their certification. What is it that they're exactly supposed to do? So I thought I would try to eliminate some of that confusion or perhaps anxiety about what you're supposed to do as far as professional development once you become a teacher. So there are several resources that I have posted for you in Blackboard, and we're just going to go through each one of those individually. I have them already pulled up on my screen. We're going to look at what is required of you as a teacher, how you change your certification, and then how you earn those credits that you need. Okay, so renewal requirements first. This is from the South Carolina Department of Education, their information on renewing a professional certificate. And they've got quite a lot of information in here, exactly how long you have to do it, exactly what you have to do. So every 5 years, basically, you have to earn 120 renewal credits. And there are a variety of ways you can earn those renewal credits. We're going to look at that in a second, but it's essentially your certificate is good for 5 years. And within that 5 year window, you have to earn a minimum of 120 renewal credits. So, like me, I already have my 120 credits for this renewal cycle. I have 3 years to go, but that doesn't mean, oh, wow, I'm done. I've got my 120 credits. I can just sit back for the next 3 years. What that means is, oh, great, I already have my 120 credits. Now, anything I do is by my choice and what is most interesting to me. I'm not scrambling trying to find something that I have to get done. I can really focus on what's most beneficial for me as an educator. The Jason Flat training is a suicide prevention program, and it is required once of every South Carolina teacher. So I did this probably 12 years ago, and I don't have to do it again. So once you have seen these videos, and they're quite lengthy, and you have to answer a lot of questions, but once you have done those, then you are covered, and you don't have to keep doing them. Read to Succeed is something that those of us who have older certificates have had to do. I believe that you guys come out of college with your Read to Succeed endorsement already on your certificate. Some of the classes that are offered in the College of Ed, I believe, cover this. You can double check on that, but I think you guys will already have this and you won't have to worry about that. It used to be true that if you did not have a master's degree, you had to take at least one master's level course, but as of June of this year, that is no longer a requirement. So those are the things you need to know in order to renew your certificate. Okay, the next thing we need to look at is how you go about doing that. There's this form that's posted, and I have the link again in Blackboard, but this is posted on the website. And basically, you're going to download this form and you fill it out, and you have to tell the State Department exactly what you want them to do. So right now, I noticed that my name is misspelled on my certificate. I am not choosing to update my name because my SLO, which we're going to look at that in a second as well, is tied to my certificate, which is tied to my wrongly spelled name. And I'm afraid if I change my name right now, that'll mess up my SLO. So I'm going to worry about that next summer, and I'll get them to spell my name correctly. Anytime you turn something in, you need to be very specific about what you want them to do. So there was one year that I turned in my information, and I was advancing, I was adding a certification, and so I had put the add endorsement here, but I did not check this to renew my certificate. So the person that I turned it into, sure enough, added my endorsement just like I asked them to do, and they sent me an expired certificate because they did not renew the certificate at the same time. So I had to go back and send in just this part to renew my certificate, even though they already had my endorsement, they already had all my credits. Unless you specifically say to do this, they're not going to do it. So make sure that you're very careful about filling this out and exactly what you want them to do. And then interesting to note down here at the bottom, you have to sign it. If you neglect to sign it, they will not do anything. So please make sure that when you send this in, you have signed it. Okay, so if you are like me, I am adding a certification right now. I just got my ESOL certification, and so I sent this in last week. But if you are renewing and you are employed by a public school system, they will fill this out for you on that 5 year renewal. So even though I am employed by a public school, because I was adding an endorsement, I have to fill it out myself. But in 3 years, when I am up for recertification, my school district will send this in for me. And I'll be honest with you, this is the first time I've had to do this. Every time before this, I have had to fill this form out myself. And it was very nerve-wracking for me this past couple of years ago when they did it, that I was not in charge of that. Like I had no control over them sending this in. And that made me a little bit nervous. And the lady in the central office assured me that if they don't send it in, that makes them look bad. So they were not going to drop the ball on that. But still, just it made me a little bit nervous. They did a great job. Everything was fine. But just be aware that that may be a rule in the district where you are teaching as well. Okay, let's look at how to earn those 120 credits. So the first possibility is to take college credit classes. So to earn my ESOL certification, it was 2 college credit classes. That was my whole 120 hours. So that's why I am done at this point. I earned my 120 hours last year. So this is a way that you can do it. Winthrop had a grant for these ESOL classes, so it cost me nothing, which was really awesome. Usually these are fairly expensive. There are some schools where you can get them a little bit less expensively. You just have to search around. I did take a class online that was fairly inexpensive, and I took a class out of a college in California one time that was fairly inexpensive, also online. So you can find some that are less expensive, but this is generally a fairly expensive option. All right, the State Department renewal credits are very often inexpensive. And I know my husband took a couple of these to renew his certificate last time. They were not difficult, they were not expensive, they just had to be done. And so you can do that as well. You just have to check the South Carolina State Department website to see what they have available. Okay, let's go down here to publications, because once you get beyond those classes, do you see that I can only earn a maximum of 60 credits for publications? I can earn all 120 credits taking classes, but if I'm going to do a publication, I can only earn 60 credits on that. I cannot earn my whole 120 credits if I'm going to publish something. All right, the same thing for instruction. So if I were teaching a class here at Winthrop that I had never taught before, I could get an instruction credit for doing that. So if it is a class I have already taught, for example, this MAED class, I've been teaching that for many, many years, and so I don't get credit for that because I have already taught it. Same thing with professional training. I have earned credits in the past for presenting at different conferences, and that is a training certification, and you can earn all your credits there as well. If you are an evaluator or an assessor, which I am not, so I have not tried this one, but I do know that you can. If you are a mentor or a supervisor, you can earn credits. I am a mentor and I had a mentee last year, but I didn't need the credit, so I didn't earn that in. I just know that it can be done. All right, if you work on grants and research, or if you do professional development activities. So this might be attending a conference that you don't specifically get credit for, but there is a way to earn some credit for your time, even though the workshop itself does not provide credit. All right, and then the same thing here for the professional development activity with the CEU credit. So this would be like the conference you are going to attend. I'll show you what that looks like. You can get up to 120 hours this way. For this one, the conferences that do not offer CEU credit, you see you can only get up to 60 hours. You have to be careful to earn your credits in the appropriate boxes. You can earn all 120 credits right here if you want to, and if you attend conferences carefully, like you choose wisely, that's definitely possible and definitely a more cost-effective method than some of the other ones. Okay, so let's look at the conference that we were going to attend, the South Carolina Council of Teachers of Mathematics Conference. This conference has always, my students have always loved it in the past, really beneficial because it is presented mostly by current classroom teachers of the grade level that you are teaching. So it's really practical. And if you attend conferences like that, I don't hear a lot of complaining at this particular conference about, hey, this doesn't relate to me, or I don't know why my administration made me come to this. Like this is completely done for math teachers by math teachers. So if you attend conferences wisely, you can often find really great conferences and get some information that way. So South Carolina Conference of Teachers of Mathematics, their conference this time is virtual. All right, and here's the information about it. If you had interest in doing that on your own, you would certainly be welcome to do that. This is the conference from last year. I just wanted you guys to see the cost of the conference. So for me to go as a member would be $97. And actually for me to join SCCTM and then pay the membership fee is less expensive than trying to go as a non-member for the conference as a whole. So you can see non-member there, price is right there. But honestly, the number of credits that you can earn to go for $97 is not bad. And the conference last year was in Greenville. Sometimes it's in Columbia. So if you have people that you can stay with, or you can drive back and forth, you don't have to pay for a motel room. Lunch is included. So $97 for the number of credits you're going to earn is not too bad. And sometimes your district will pay for that. You just have to ask. Okay, let's look for a second at an SLO. So I'm going to take you guys to the SC Lead website. An SLO is important for renewing your certificate as well. You guys have probably heard teachers talk about this. If you're in an internship right now, your teacher may or may not be working on it. There is a time schedule for that, and they may have chosen a different semester. But just so you guys can see it, all right, here I am in the South Carolina SC Lead website. And within that, like, okay, here I am, and you can see this is my thing right here, and you can see I'm 25% done. So I have done the orientation. I have actually written my student growth and professional goals. I'm just waiting for my admin to sign off on it. So as soon as she signs off on it, that's going to cycle around here, and I'm going to have a little bit more. But basically, you go to the orientation, which is very minimal. You fill out a fairly long document here. You have some observations from your administrator. You talk about things, and then you have to upload some information at the end, kind of to say what you did, and then you talk about it again and give the results. So on the website here, you can see I'm in the student growth and professional goals section. And my professional goal this year is called the unit circle. It's my favorite math topic. I'm so excited I get to do that for my SLO this year. And if I were to click on details, which I cannot because there's some FERPA information in there, you could see it is a fairly long document. I have to fill out information about my student's background and that sort of thing, which is why I can't open it up to show you guys right now. But also you just fill out information about what your unit is, what standard in the South Carolina State Standards you're covering, what standard from the teacher rubric you want to be graded on, and then you present it to your administrator, and you and your administrator discuss it. The administrator comes and observes you to make sure how things are going, to make sure you're doing the things that you say you're doing in your professional growth and development plan. You attach perhaps a test or a quiz, you might attach a lesson, and then you talk about the results, how your students did, and how your administrator feels you did as a teacher. Every year, every teacher who teaches more than 6 students has to fill one of these out. So the one I'm filling out this year is a little bit smaller than ones I've done in the past. I'm not entirely sure if that is going to be a permanent change or that is just for 2020 because of COVID and all the different things we have going on there. But every year, every teacher has to fill one of these out. And there's a great deal of background work that goes into it. Most of us choose to do one that is something we were going to talk about anyway. We don't do anything special for it. We just say, hey, here's some good teaching that's going on in my class, and I want you to know and I want you to see. And so I would be doing the unit circle with my Algebra 3 class regardless. And so I'm just going to say, hey, I need you to come look at what I'm doing with the unit circle. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not doing a show for you. This is just something I would have done anyway, and you're going to pop in and you're just going to see how it's going. So it's not intended to be an extra something. It's intended to be just something you would be doing anyway, and the administrator comes in and just kind of checks behind you. Hey, you are doing that. Great job. Is kind of the way that goes. So I wanted you guys to see that because I think there's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about what exactly you have to do in order to continue on as an educator. So if you have questions about professional development, please feel free to reach out. But I just wanted you guys kind of to have a heads up about what's coming your way after you graduate, after you are through with your initial certification. this is what you'll do on a 5-year cycle for the rest of your career.